Okay, we're going to have a look at some crossroads. You can have a few different types of crossroads. They can be controlled by give way or even stop lines. You can have what we call an unmarked crossroads. An unmarked crossroads is pretty obviously a crossroad which has no markings on. You're going to find these in residential areas and no one has priority. What you do need to do, however, is treat them as though there would be a marking or a give way line there. All the other crossroads are controlled by traffic lights, and we're going to be looking at these also. So, on the approach, it's really important to a crossroad that you apply and use your MSPSL routine. So mirrors, signal, position, speed and look. And a lot of the same things that you've done with your turns and emerges are going to apply at crossroads. For example, you'll be checking the same mirrors to turn left and right. You'll be signalling in the same way, obviously signalling left to turn left and obviously signalling right to turn right. Position, generally what we're going to be doing is positioning when we're going ahead to point at our road across the other side. So we're going to be pointing in this direction. But that can mean that you might have to take up slightly different positions depending on what type of crossroad it is. If we just have a quick look at this, if we were this learner car here on this left hand side, would probably take up this position to point at the road that we're trying to head to. If the crossroad that we were actually heading towards was staggered in this way, this time you'd position your car probably this way, pointed again at the road that you're heading to. So your position's turning left is your normal driving position. Your position to turn right is left of the centre line, exactly the same as you've been doing with your other turns. The position to go straight on, you've got to try and point your car at the road across the other side. Now, speed is a little touch different. When we're approaching the crossroad, we've got the normal things to be looking at. We've got to be making sure we're looking to see whether it's open or closed. We've got to make sure we're looking to see how sharp the corner is and the traffic moving on the road. Make sure as well, and this brings me on to the final part, the look, you also appreciate what to do with cars from the opposite direction. And it's these vehicles from the opposite direction that are the real big difference. You've still got to make sure you know how to cross traffic safely to get from here to here. And the same rules apply as if you were turning right. If you'd walk across, you could drive across. If there was a pedestrian walking across the road and you couldn't clear your junction, you'd wait here. But it's this car across the other side that we need to deal with. And you can deal with this car in a couple of ways. First thing, if there's enough room here to turn with the car from the opposite direction, you can turn in a way that we call either offside to offside or near side to near side. Now, I'll quickly show you these. Turning near side to near side, and here we've got a traffic light crossroad that we're using. The near side of our car is the nearest side to the curb, or this side here, the left hand side. And this side is going to be passing next to the near side or the left hand side of the red one. And they turn in this way. The benefit of turning in this way is that it allows all of this traffic to flow, and their flow is not interrupted by the other car that you're turning with. The problem, however, comes from if you're in this first learner car, you can't see the motorbike very well coming the other way, so your view is obstructed and you have to give way to the motorbike in this situation. The other way of turning is what we call offside to offside, and rather than turning in front of the car from the opposite side, you go past and you turn round the back of the red car this time. And this comes from the off side of the car, which is the right side. So you turn right side to right side, or driver to driver. Now, the benefit of turning this way, if you're in this position here, your view of the oncoming vehicles is not obstructed by the car that you're turning with. However, it doesn't allow traffic flow very well. This second white car should really wait back here, or even, to be honest, before the stop line, because if it goes into the middle like this, the red car can't complete its turn, and if the yellow car does the same, it's gridlocked. How we choose which way to actually turn, whether it be offside to offside or near side to near side, depends on a few things. It can depend on road markings. This situation here, the road markings are telling us that we turn near side to near side. Here, if I switch them round, it's offside to offside, so they can sometimes tell us. The size of the junction often determines which way we're going to use. You will need a lot more space to generally turn offside to offside, but the main thing, it's this car from the opposite direction. If this car waits back here, think of the space that you wish to use. It's here, so the easiest route to get to that space is to turn there. So near side to near side would suit in that situation because the red car wishes to do that. If the red car continues further down and moves down here, the easiest way to get to this road is to do that. So you copy or you mirror image the car from the opposite direction, and that's how we tell whether to turn offside to offside or near side to near side. Now, the last little thing, if you are turning and there isn't enough room to turn offside or near side with the cars from the opposite direction, you may come up to this situation where there's not enough space to turn together, and what you need to do is decide between the two of you who's going to go. Quite simply, if you're going straight, we're in a blue car this time, and the red car's crossing your path, the red car generally waits. And how it would do that, it wouldn't creep forward. The driver would probably sit there looking at you in the blue car, and if it was clear from both sides, you'd continue, and then the red car decides to go after. And that's how you deal with it if there's no space to turn together. Remember, when you're doing a crossroads, however, there's always 3 places to look: right, over and left. Have you got any questions? All these briefings are used on the iPad with apps produced by a guy called Neal Beaver. I use these apps on a daily basis. They're quite simply the best on the market. I'm not being paid to say this about these apps. I would turn around and recommend these apps to anyone learning to be a driving instructor.